Good morning. It is Monday, April 10th at 8:40 a.m. And right now on the screen, we are looking at gold versus the US dollar. Okay, so most immediately, the first thing I see on the weekly chart, that we're looking at the weekly chart, immediately the most important thing that I see is that we're starting to have a strong rejection here at this point, as we have in the past, over the past 2 years, coming up to this high. Let's take a look at the line chart. So I do see that we're basically overall in this consolidating trend for the past 2 years on gold. I'd like to see how price can return back to these zones like 1950, 1856, 1830, so on and so forth. But I do see that we are basically here. Would be one wave, or if you think about the breakout zone being here, or yeah, however I do it. This is one wave. This could be two, and this would be the third wave, fourth, five. It doesn't always have to be perfect. But I'd like to see, entertain price coming back to these region, just because we've stayed and played here for so long in this area. And with the global politics, a lot of economic uncertainty out here in the markets, I could anticipate price coming back to these levels. Dropping down to the daily, I do see a strong respect at the 886 level, and we do have some divergence, strong bearish divergence. As I mentioned from the setup from yesterday, we do have some strong, a short consolidation zone before strong bullish momentum to the upside. But based on the strong respect here, or the bearish divergence and the strong respect here at the 886 line, I'd like to see how price can return to these levels and perhaps clean up some of the liquidity that's available here on gold versus the US dollar. Okay. All right, so turning to look at the DXY, we'll pull it up to the weekly this time. I just wanted to check in. So the first thing I see most immediately is the divergence that we're starting to have. So I like the respect here again at the 102 level. As I mentioned from yesterday, I did want to see some bullish momentum return to the markets up to a certain point. I think it was 103.3, 103.35, or 103.5. Looking closer, I could see how we could start. I'd like to see what price does at the 103.5 level. Um, and then from there, we can make a better decision on if we want to continue up to 104 or if we're going to go back down to 103, potentially 102.50 again. So overall, I am still bullish on this pair, or bearish on this pair, but I understand we are in a bullish correction zone or area right now. So flipping back over to the gold, we can see, as the price begins to rise, we can see that we actually have divergence on these charts as well. Let me make it naked so we can better see it. So we'll have our flow here. So this would be 1, 2, 3. And here we just have consolidation as we begin to come out of a zone. All right, so let's take a look at USDJPY as well. So if we have bearish momentum on gold, bullish momentum right now on the dollar, let's look at USDJPY. Let's look at it on a weekly time frame. So it looks like price is starting to coming back here at this magnet zone 134.887. And then we'll be able to get a better understanding of how price is rising. Extremely neutral still. Looking at it on the daily. It does look like we have a little bit of cross up going on here. Yeah, for me on the USD JPY, I'd like to see what really happens here at this 134.887 level. I think that we could stay and play here for a little bit between 339 and 35374 potentially, or maybe just 134.887. If we continue to see a bullish rise in confluence with the dollar, I'd like to see price to come back up here, 137, 138. which I think it very well could do. All right, so let's take a look at the fundamental side. It is still, I think, technically Easter Monday for most countries, or for a few that are still on holiday. I think the bullish momentum or any of the volatility that we really experienced today um, may, or since market open, has really been, may have been due to NFP, like an aftershock of NFP. I feel like the market was more muted on that Friday because it was Good Friday. Okay, so as I mentioned, we do have some London banks that were closed, or Euro banks that were closed. We've got Fed's members speaking today. All this is really yellow folder news, but I do know that it has an economic impact. That's why it's listed here. What we really care more about are the red and the orange folder news. So Tuesday, nothing too major coming out. Another Fed member speaking at 3 p.m. tomorrow, my time, Pacific Standard Time. We've got international monetary funds meetings, which I think might be important to highlight. Excuse me. And then on Wednesday, we have a lot of red folder news. So it'll be interesting to see, what price action does over the next, 1 to 2 days, basically a day. If you think about a trading day ending at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So for me, basically, my trading, according to my trading plan and my trading schedule, the trading day for Monday is over. So it's like that brief, night period or intermission period before market opening up again for Tuesday's session at 2 p.m. All right, so I won't go through all these right now. We'll take a look at this more maybe Tuesday or Wednesday on another analysis this week. I just really wanted to come over here and start checking out the news. Okay, so job gains fuel rate hike worries. Global PC shipments slide. Let's see. This is the first time I've looked at the news today, so um, some very interesting things here in geopolitics. Gloomy bank sector could yield payoff for contrarian option bets. All right, so excuse me. We can see how this could start to shake things up in the Forex market with economic uncertainty and all things kind of relating to war. I think that there could be some interesting price momentum over the next several weeks, months, years, however. Uh, so I don't want to do like the fear mongering or sticking, increasing any anxiety or things that might be out there for folks. So I really just try to stick towards, um, the things relating to business or money or GDP, things of that nature. Not saying that I don't look at, the other news um, consciously. I just, um, again, don't want to, I try to keep this as neutral politically as possible. Okay, so credit crunch, Fed fears. I think that's just an interesting verbiage there. Fed fears. Earnings under pressure after crisis. I mean, there's a lot of things that are um, not necessarily in the positive light for the US dollar. Not to say that it's good or bad, it is. Um, Money markets see fourth weekly inflow in a row. So really right now, as the markets and everything are turning into uncertainty, this is really just a time for um, speculation, for savvy investing, in my opinion, and really becoming more knowledgeable about what's happening in these price markets, what's actually happening with gold, what's happening with the dollar, on a bigger time frame. You know, I want to check something out here. I'm not a fan of like war or anything like that, but I do want to say, oh, there goes Batman. That was Batman in 2020. Okay, I think I found another Batman. I don't know if it was this chart or another chart, but I saw Batman on the chart. Okay, anyway. If you know what that means, if you know, you know. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm looking for is I'm trying to go all the way back here. I should have just put it in a thing. Um, excuse me. But what I hear is that like war or something, certain things, positively impact the nation. So most recently, I'm born in the 90s, so I know a little bit about wars. Um, for the last, the major war everyone talks about here in the US is like World War II and let's say 1900s. This is a little bit of extra spiel, okay, for the class here. Um, all right, most immediately, let's look at the Vietnam War. Vietnam War. I think it was like in the 50s. But let's just be sure. Oh, look. Okay, so yeah, this is the longest war to date, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, and that it ended up basically in a stalemate. The sides just stopped wanting to fight or something like that. Anyway, why? Yeah. Oh, it says the U.S. lost the war. Okay, so anyway, the point was that this was in the most recent times the longest war that's really been happening or has happened. And I remember there was a lot of reading